my god, please leave this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
My name is Juliet, as you can see in the name, it's subscribed.
And I'm going to be talking about why God's ways are so much better. They're so much better. Like, God knows what he is saying, y'all, if we had just obeyed him. And this came up while I was just spending time with God. I feel like God was like, you should make a video about this because it's Sunday, don't really have school right now, but also because this is something I've been going through with my life right now, about whether I should obey God or do my own fleshly desires. And so yeah, but it started when I was a little kid. I've always just thought of obeying God as this rigorous, difficult thing that I somehow could never seem to attain, because I didn't understand why following Jesus was so necessary, like how Jesus could be the ultimate sacrifice and somehow I still obey God's law. You know, like, how will I ever keep the law? And that's how I slowly just lost courage over the years. But as I was doing that, I went away from trying to follow God into just doing what people around me wanted me to do. Because you're gonna have to serve somebody. Like, you're gonna have to find your identity in something. And so instead of trying to obey God and what he was saying, I was just doing what people thought I should be doing, you know? You should be doing this and doing that and doing this and that. And at first, you know, it seems all easy, like, oh, people are liking me because I'm doing everything they want me to do. But after a while, it just gets so exhausting because you realize you will never satisfy everyone's opinion of you. And people will never be content. But when you when you trust in God and be like, God, your ways are holier, your ways are better, I feel like I just have this peace that surpasses all understanding, as God says in his word, like, be anxious about nothing, you know? And instead of worrying about everything, pray about everything, and God will give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. And he's serious about that. I understand, like, once you actually obey. And there's even a song that even says, like, trust and obey, something like that. Like, when we stop trying to do things our way, stop trying to do things people's way, and actually obey God, you're going to have peace. Like, God's ways are so beautiful. Like, God knows you. He wants what's best for you. But the enemy will come here in line and be like, yeah, he just wants the worst. Like, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. Like, boy, you got kicked out of heaven. Why am I getting advice from the devil? Like, that's not happening. But God's ways on top, always. And this reminded me of a verse in Galatians 1 verses 10. I'm going to read in English, and it says, "For do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? For if I still please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ." Which is basically saying you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and man. You gotta choose who you're gonna serve. And sometimes we live like, oh, we can choose even the future, but the choice has to be made today, because you're not promised tomorrow. And so, like, God's ways are just better, y'all. Please trust him, because he knows what he has in store for you. As Jeremiah 29:11 says, like, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. And so yeah, I wanted just to tell you guys, don't try to do things your way or people's way. Do things God's way. Whether it be for school, if God has called you somewhere else where no one else is going through, go through that way. Or if God is calling you to go somewhere, go to a different place, leave that friend group, change your career path, trust him, because he knows what's in store for you. He knows what's best for you. And when you disobey, girl, you might feel good in the moment, but in the future you're gonna be like, dang, I wish I I wish I didn't disobey God. Like, I wish I had obeyed him. And you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. Now, of course, God can turn what the enemy meant for evil for good, but that doesn't mean to disobey God because he can fix it in the future. Like, obey God so you can live to the fullest potential like he has for you. And so, don't please people. I mean, there is verses that talks, like Jesus talks like when he was a kid, how he was pleasing both to God and to man. But that wasn't the whole time. And Jesus, he wasn't here to please people, obviously. Like sometimes, yes, what he did, it naturally just made people happy. It naturally brought joy to people. But he wasn't doing it for that reason. He was living his purpose. He was living in his identity. He was living in like the reason why he came here. And sometimes that made people happy, and sometimes that made people not happy. And so, like, you cannot please everyone. You can't. You really can't. So stop wasting your breath trying to fit this standard, whatever standard you've created in your own mind to please a group of people. I'm sorry, I sound a little congested. It's winter time. I mean, even though the sun is shining, it's like what, 4 p.m. so it's about to set. But yeah, like, trust God. He knows what's best. I'm gonna keep saying that. That's literally the whole theme. God's ways are so beautiful. Like, when you come to him, even though you've fallen, even though you've maybe been up like doing the wrong thing, when you come to him, just know he is so merciful. Like, God is so merciful, and that if you have been struggling in this area or any other area, he is able to restore you. He is so forgiving, guys. Like, every time I go to God, I'm like, God, I did the same thing again, and yet you're still forgiving me. It just blows my mind. I'm like, wow, you're so amazing. Like, I don't deserve your grace. Ugh, my voice. But yeah, God is so forgiving, and so come back to him, but don't keep abusing his grace either. You know, come back to God, and he will heal you. He will forgive you. Come to God. Just come to God, and he will restore you. Guys, nimushimisha abantu ahubwo mushimisha Imana, cause aragukunda kandi azi imigambi yagufitiye. He knows what's best for you. So yeah, guys, that was a short little video. Do not please people. Don't do it. Don't do it. It was a more serious undertone, but I think it's just my voice. That's why. But guys, I love you guys, and I hope you're blessed and God helps you, continues to be with you guys. He is with you. He is with us all the time, but only if you include him. And so yeah.